Hey guys, Bryan here from Liquid Concepts. So today we're going to talk a little bit about an RC car. Now, we've already done one video on dipping like the outside of an RC car, and we've had a lot of requests, of course, for the inside because let's be honest, an RC car is definitely going to go through a lot of abuse. And so that's why most of the time you normally want to do things on the inside instead of the outside. So that way it is protected and it still looks good after tons of crashes. So what we've got here is we actually have an RC car that we've grabbed. Now, of course, there is tons of different models and sizes and all that, and I am not going to be the person that says that I am very fluent in these, but we have one of these here and we've already actually prepped this thing out. Now, it looks like we haven't done anything, but we actually have. And so what we're going to be doing today is actually dipping the inside of the RC car body instead of the outside. So as you can clearly see, we still have the film that is still on here, and so we have went ahead and prepped this out. So let's go ahead, let's talk a little bit about this, and then once we figure out what all we've done so far, then we can get into the dipping process and then of course show you guys the end result. So let's get started. So we've got everything all prepped out. Now let's talk a little bit about what all we've done. So of course we have scuffed it up really good on the inside, and then we have taken and sprayed an adhesion promoter over the top of it to allow it to stick to the inside of it. And then we've came back with our LC900, which is actually an inner coat clear, which is pretty much just a clear base paint. So now that we've got this already prepped out, ready to go, already sprayed, now let's take a look at the film and see what we're going to be dipping this in. It's going to be, of course, a camouflage, so it's going to be a very neat looking design. And so of course, as you can tell, we do have a pattern going like this, so we're going to try to make sure that we line this up somewhere like this, because of course we don't want the trees going this way. So let's go ahead, we'll line this up somewhere right around in here, get this cut and lay it in the water and show you guys how it's going to look. So once we lay this film down in the water, we're going to have about a 60-second soak, which is going to be standard, and then we're going to spray our activator. Now on something like this is going to be a pretty simple dip, but the main thing is that we're going to, of course, pull everything out just like that, and then we're going to feed it down into the water, and as we're going down, we may go ahead and rotate that out just to help prevent a lot of those air bubbles that may get trapped inside here. So let's go ahead, let's contain the film and spray the activator and show you guys the end result. Make sure everything is glassed out, which is what we want. And now that everything looks really glassed out, now we can go ahead and start dipping this in. Now, of course, right now, it doesn't look very great. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, it's just a clear pattern, very, very slippery, but we've got very good coverage all the way around through here. And so we were able to help eliminate a lot of the air pockets that we would have got by going in at that angle like that and then wrapping it back around. So we'll go ahead, we'll put it in the rinse station, let this rinse, let it dry, come back, and then show you guys the end results after that. All right, so we've got everything dipped, and let's take a look at what all we have here. So as you can tell, we have a little bit of excess that actually got on the overside right here on the top and a little bit over on this side. Not a big deal, but one of the biggest things to remember is that we're doing everything backwards. So this is pretty much how it's going to look. It's very clear, it's very opaque. It doesn't really look that great, but now that we have this, this is the time that we're actually going to come in and do any type of airbrushing, touch-ups, anything like that. So if you had any spots that possibly had trapped air in these corners or areas, this is whenever you need to touch it up, because you cannot do it after this next step. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to touch everything up, and then of course we'll lay down some paint on everything, so then that way you can get a better feel of what all it's going to look like, and then of course the clear coat after that. So let's get started. All right, so now that we've got our airbrushes set up, let's take a look at what all we're going to touch up with what we have right here. So I've got this piece of paper here to make it a little bit easier to see. And so where we had to actually hold this at, you can see we've got a little bit of areas right in through here where I was having to hold it. Now again, if I could have put probably some tape right in here to hold it, that probably would have been a little bit better. But again, we'll go ahead, we'll touch up a little bit in this area right in here. And then same thing with right here. We'll touch up a little bit of this area right in there. And then overall, everything else, we'll take a look at it. But if there's any other spots in here, then we can definitely get those touched up as well. So as far as the touch-ups go, what we have is we've just mixed up just a standard black. Now again, you can go a lot more in detail. You can have a lot more of your greens and your orange if you have some leaves, and even some browns and blacks. But in this case, just for the video, so you can see here we've got a black, and so all this is just a very light black. Again, you can use any type of airbrush paint that you would like. And so what we're going to do here is on these little areas like this, we're just going to come in and lightly just kind of shade them in, just so then that way they kind of blend together a little bit better. Now again, we are doing this very quickly, so you could easily come back in with more of the right color if you really needed to, or anything like that. And again, we'll come back in with this right here and just kind of lightly shade that in, just so it doesn't look like we have any type of areas that were blown out or anything like that. And so and we might even continue the shading up just a little bit more, just to kind of blend that in. And then now all I'm going to do is just kind of look around this right here, make sure that I don't have any areas like maybe that right there that we need to touch up, or anything like that. Like you can see right here in that little area right there, I did have a blowout, and I also have one right in here. And so all I'm going to do is come in and just lightly hit that with a little bit of black, just like that. And so once we are satisfied with everything, then now we can go through and get started with the paint. So again, you could spend a lot more time on the touch-ups. This is just a very quick, very easy, simple touch-up to do. But again, if you do have one and you need different colors, definitely use the different colors on this. But for something like this, just to kind of show you guys what we're doing, we're just going to use that right there for now. But now all we're going to do is take and spray the paint over the top of this. So the paint is going to give everything the color and the look that we want, which is exactly what we want it to look like. So in this case, we're probably going to use like a beige color. So we'll come in, we'll spray this in a beige, and then we'll spray the clear coat over the top of that, and then it'll be ready to go. So let's get started. All right, so now that we've got everything all sprayed, now would be the time that we would go ahead and spray our clear coat and get everything all finished up. But we wanted to go ahead and show you guys what it's gonna look like, because of course you can always add the clear afterwards, but we wanted to show you what it's gonna look like now that we've got it all sprayed with the base coat. So let's go ahead and pull all of this off here. And so now you can see it definitely looks a lot better. Now, again, you can clearly see we still have the film on this, and so we did that for a couple of reasons. Number one, we definitely wanted to make sure that whenever we were spraying anything or dipping anything, that anything that got on the top of this, it would of course be completely covered and everything would be good. So you can see that we do have some excess dip along here. We've probably got a little bit of overspray on it, things like that. You can definitely see another dip right through here. So now we can go ahead and peel this off, and you can see a much better idea of how this is going to look. All right, I'm not gonna lie, that actually looks really, really good. So again, we've got little areas that we touched up right there. If we would have spent more time on it, we could have easily made those blend in a lot better, but we do have a little bit of stretch right up through here, which again, we kind of knew that because we were going all the way in with it like that. But overall, this thing came out looking really, really good. I am super happy with it, and I think it came out really good. We have little to no air pockets and blowouts in it, and so I think we've touched up most all of them, and now that it has that polycarbonate finish over the top of this here, now whenever something scratches it like this, of course it's not going to hurt it because everything is done on the inside. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them below. We'd always love to hear from you on anything Hydrographics related, as well as let me know your thoughts on how the body came out, if you would have done anything differently, or what you think about the overall look of it. I think it came out looking really, really good, especially whenever we pulled the top cover off, but definitely always love to hear your thoughts on that as well. If you're curious about any of the products that we used in this video, you can check the links in the description below. We're going to have all of those there for you, and it's going to lead you to the website. The website is going to have everything that you need for the Hydrographics in case you need anything else, from tanks to training to activator to film. It is all there on the website, so definitely make sure you check that out. I'm Bryan from Liquid Concepts, and this is how we customize your world. We'll see you guys next time.